Crash Course Live is presented by Smash It Demolition Derby and the 2016 Bash for Cash. Demo Derby Masters. Winter Slam 2016. Ultimate Derby and Blizzard Bash and Capital City Carnage. Scioppa Racing and ScioppaRacing.com. Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel at RecklessAbandonGear.com. And Derby Inc. Magazine. Live it, breathe it, be it, Derby Inc. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Crash Course Live here at the Northeast Demolition Derby Banquet. A packed house in front of us as we wait for the buffet to be set up and lunch to be laid out for everybody. I had the chance to walk around a little bit out back, and man, it is packed out there, wall-to-wall, cars, parts, you name it. There's plenty of stuff out there. Brian Tompkins joining me here at the table with Josh Decker, who's already signed at least a dozen autographs through the course of the day. Two.
You mentioned food. Josh is still getting served first, right, today?
Josh, we're going to have to cut the show early to give Josh a chance to.
Yep. Hey,
that's a true statement.
As long as we got the important stuff taken care of.
That's right.
I am hungry.
You want to know the funny thing is this little kid came up to Josh and asked for an autograph at Ryan Ostrander Catskills booth out there. And Josh said, yeah, no problem, and pulled a Sharpie right out of his pocket, just like this, because I had one too, just in case I ran into Josh and he needed one.
He needed one, absolutely.
But he already had one ready to go. It was
horrible.
It was good to see.
You guys are horrible. You know, it's funny, and it's
But with all the people out there that were saying that you should die, you should be happy about this.
the heckling that happens behind me every time I sign one is just, I don't know if it's worth it.
It's worth it every time.
It makes you feel so great that someone asks you, but on the backside you have people telling you suck.
I just think it's great that after all these years you can write your own name. That's terrific.
Barely.
It took you a long time.
I just scribble.
That's great.
I misspell it a lot.
I was very excited to see that you now have more likes on your fan page than the Crash Course.
Nice.
And I Have Friends combined.
See, I knew this would work. It would work.
Mike DeFries's page is catching you quickly, though.
Yeah, well.
His hasn't even been made yet.
Listen, as a driver, he's way cooler.
Mike's going to win 20 shows this year. I mean,
yes.
Decker, he's going to win more shows than Decker runs.
Totally agree.
He's going to run
He's
45.
Yeah, he's going to run 40 and win 20 of them, so it works out good in the end.
They had some strap out there. I walked past their booth, and they got some door strap, and I'm like, that's a good idea. I don't got to go to the shop. I'll take some of these. He's like, nope, I sold 600 feet. It's gone. It's like, wow. 600 feet of door strap?
We got here. We pulled up parked next to Chris's van, and then we were told that's Mr. Decker's parking spot, but that's a different story. But we pull up, and I went over and asked Mike which bumper he wanted, and I took him over his bumper, and I said, what's wrong? I said, you guys didn't get any cars out of the shop this week. I said, usually it's like 3 a week. And he said, well, we were building parts. So they took a break from their 2 or 3 cars a week to build some parts. And he said he was swamped. Everybody. I mean, I was talking with Rick Clark at R&R Derby Supplies, and he said they've sold a bunch of stuff. So it's great that people are here and supporting the guys that, help out the sport so much.
Oh, the amount of money being transferred out there is like, someone hands you money, then you buy something.
Absolutely.
Someone hands you money, then you buy something. I came with a chunk, and it's gone. Then I went to the ATM, and it told me max for my day.
And you got that.
It's you know what, ATM, you're right. I should stop spending today. You're so right, ATM. Thank you.
It's funny. I come down, and I've been looking for Cadillacs. I come down, there's like 3 or 4 in the parking lot for sale, and unfortunately, at the moment, I'm not able to buy one. I was just like, really, that's
What were they asking for that yellow one?
I didn't. The one.
God,
I think that's Jamie St. Mary's car, though. I was surprised to see it down here.
Oh, it's nice.
I think that was one of the ones that came up through Nick DeCastro/Fur. I'm not sure though. But,
Fur brought a pile of stuff up here.
But that was all spoke for. One was Rick Clark. Rick Clark brought a Ford. Nick DeCastro, I think, had the Imperial, and I think Donnie Hartzell had the other car.
What's Nick need the Imperial for?
I don't know, because he likes Imperials. No,
True.
Nick got the no. Hartzell got the Imperial. Donnie runs all over the Northeast, so there's some place he'll go where he can take that car.
He still got his old Imperial, I think.
Yeah, he does.
I think he ruined it. I think he kind of junked it.
Nah.
That was 27th round.
Something we have to touch on quick before we get too far in.
Yes, I know exactly where you're going with this.
This week we lost a Derby legend. Jesse Howell finally succumbed to his battle with cancer, about a year long now. Very sad. I read a lot of things on Facebook, and away from, besides the Derby stuff, the thing that I'll always remember about Jesse is his smile.
Definitely.
Because Jesse had a smile that would just, and he, more times than not, that's what you saw from Jesse.
He was that guy was like my hero.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm glad that we can talk about it today. I was going to come on Monday. I wanted to tell some stories about him.
We'll
because,
do it there too.
Yeah, he's like, that guy was truly my hero. Like when I was 12, 13, 14, when you just start like understanding Derby. I remember the first time he ever told me that he runs all over the place. My dad was helping with inspection, and he's like, yeah, I run like a couple days a week, 3 or 4 days a week. I'll just load up a car and go to Derby. And I remember staring at him like, oh my gosh, you could do this for a whole summer, like every night. Oh my God. And he became, I watched that man before the Benjamins. Everyone knew the Benjamins. I knew Jesse Howe before the Benjamins.
Yeah. We were just talking about Mark a minute ago and how the only time he leaves Chemung is to come to Seneca County and win.
Yeah, and he's doing it at Broome County too. But Jesse, man, I've seen him win so many derbies. I mean, he's the only guy. He had a season, his best season. He ran 11 or 12 shows and won first place every single one of them.
And that's the year he won states too, right?
And the same year that he won the Triple Crown, which was Tioga had a Wednesday night derby, won it. Friday night derby, won it, and a truck division. He won all 3 of them in the same week and won a Triple Crown, which back then it was like $3,000. It was like crazy money, you know, in early 2000s. But super good dude, you know, and it's like you can't.
And you know, I saw a picture on Facebook and it said something about Papa's kids or something. And I assume it was all his grandkids' names on it. And it's just so sad. I mean, we always saw Jesse and his wife, and I mean, they were always together. She supported him. If he was at a derby, she was there with him. You know what I mean? Watching. You know, even if he wasn't running, she was, and they were just always like so good together. You know what I mean? You could really tell.
You know what I was saying last night is we went to the calling hours last night, and you know, of course, just so many people. But listening, I've been to a couple of them, and to hear all the stories being told about the people in line is at the end of every story you see everybody laughing.
Oh yeah.
Because all the stories are great stories. Like, oh, I remember when he did this, and I'm listening to other people's stories, and it wasn't even derby stuff, man. I mean, he did this and that, and he's done a lot in his life.
Oh yeah.
And he was always good to people during it, and listening to things like that, it's like, you know what? We all need to strive to be like that kind of guy.
Absolutely.
You know, where when.
And that's the thing, you know, I've said it on the show, you know, definitely one of the highlights in my non-illustrious derby career was last year at King's Old School. I mean, when I was on the track with Jesse, and we kind of had to park next to each other in a red flag, and he looked at me, and I could just see the smile from ear to ear, and he looked at me and smiled and gave me the thumbs up, and I'm like, it really doesn't get any better than that on a derby track, you know what I mean?
Today, Jerry and I were...
And then after that, he got to lead out the passenger side door and begged Rick Clark for help 9 times.
Yes.
No, it was way before that. I did do that, but it was way before.
You were begging. You were begging. No, but you know, Jess, that was... Jess has been...
Do you remember this look, Brian?
Yeah, please. Let me get off the wall one more time. But Jess has won so many derbies around here. I'm talking like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, not 10, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
Like he won everywhere, like 10 or 12 times.
I was thinking of it today. I was going to ask Richie, like, I bet he could say he won Bath, Chemung, Owego. He could go right down the counties in New York, right up the next group, right up. But the thing about him is he was retired for a lot of years. And King's Old School, this is what King's Old School was about at the time. A lot of guys coming out of retirement. He was a prime example. He probably hadn't run 8 or 10 years.
Yeah, because he'd had some other health issues.
And Jerry and I were talking to my buddy Jerry. Not only did he come out and run, he wins his heat, dominates in his heat, okay? Dominates. Goes in the feature. And if it wasn't for getting hung, he could have won that song. He got third place. He could have absolutely been in there to win it. And to think a guy has not sat in a car for 10 years and still comes out and goes, and it wasn't a regular shitty derby. Nope. It was 20-car heat, 24-car heat. Then he goes in a feature of 20-something cars. My God.
And there wasn't any junk there.
That was showing how great of a driver he was, you know. And the smile on his face that day, you could tell he was loving being back in the car.
And that's the thing, too, is, I mean, and, you know, everybody's gone to the Chevy this and Cadillac this and yada, yada, yada. There's Jesse in a shocker. You know, using the back end, and it's not whale-tailed. It's just perfect.
No, he knows what he's doing.
You know what I mean? And just...
I mean, when you think about the number of wins that he has, I think he's got... I think it's probably close, actually. I bet he's got more wins than Josh Buell.
Times 1,000. How many's Buell got? He's got all that minus one more. He's got a lot of wins. I mean, and growing up, man, I just remember him winning like back to back to back. And in my first heat ever, he was in my heat. I was 16. He hit me so hard in the back. I was up against a concrete wall. My nose hit the steering wheel, right? I didn't have his glasses.
Is that what that bump is?
No, I was born with that one, but it hit right off of it. It was the last hit of the derby, right? Because then they waved the flag. As soon as the heat was done, the EMTs ran to me to make sure I was okay. And I remember my mom afterwards, like, your nose, it's swollen. It's like, yeah, Ma, I hit my nose out of the steering wheel, you know? And I was knocked dumb, but I learned Jesse Howe real quick that day. You know,
Did Jesse say anything after the heat?
no,
Like, nice
no,
run, kid,
no,
or good
no.
job, or
No, he wanted to feature that then on Sunday of that too.
imagine that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's.
I was in the heat with him and Harold Benjamin. Right, good luck.
So you
Josh.
had no shot.
I got third.
That's not bad.
I'd take it today.
Yeah,
I would take
absolutely.
that today. You know, I was 16.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Oh
that's,
man, he was in a wagon I know was full of concrete because I hit it one time in the back. You know, and it's like, ooh, I remember.
And the one thing that I really remember derby-wise about Jesse Howe was he was always there at the end. You never went to a derby and saw Jesse Howard early. Never.
He always made a feature. He was always in the
always
end.
made the feature, and he was always there at the
Absolutely.
end. I mean, when's the last time you saw Jesse Howe get run over in a derby?
No,
That would be never.
I was saying to Jerry, a great driver is a guy that never gets hung. Okay, he never gets hung. I've been hung a lot of times, and a lot of times it's your own fault. You make mistakes. Sometimes it's such a simple mistake, but his wherewithal in the track, he never got hung.
No.
He was like you say, he was always in there. Plus, I can remember him running trucks. I can remember him running, and whatever he stuck with.
Yeah, it didn't matter what he got. And another one of my favorite derby memories. We were at the Owego Fair, and full weld class before full weld class was in vogue.
Yes.
And he had a roundback Chevy wagon welded. You couldn't find a seam on the car. And he was battling out there, and he gets sideways, and he got driver doored full track. And Jesse came out of that car and was swinging like Mike
Who
Tyson.
did he swing?
man.
Was it at Brett?
No, it was one of the Brown brothers. Because remember there
Okay,
was
yeah,
the
yeah,
Andy
yeah. I think
and
it was
Andy.
Robbie.
No, Robbie had the Crown Vic that year, but it was Andy and his other brother had
Remember that Crown
Cordobas.
Vic? Yes, I remember that whole
And
year.
one of them hit Jesse, and they came out and were just swinging. And I went down to watch, and then they cleared everybody off the track, put them back in the cars, went back to Derby.
You know, he was he's like just one of those guys that he was always smiling and like, you know what was really cool about him too? It's like our area, I've said this before. When you walked around the pits, if you went to go look at somebody else's car, everyone got pissed. Get away, Decker, get away. Jesse Howe, nah, man. He'd look over, he'd say, oh yeah, this, that. I can tell you, I was thinking about it last night. I could say 10 tricks that he said to me, Josh, you need to do this. I still do them to this day. I swear. And one of them was as simple as turning my battery box and moving it closer to my training tunnel. He just kept, one day he gave me a pitch about how the door is going to come in, it's going to hit your battery box. Okay, I turned mine. Mine stays like that to this day. You know, a little sensor on the back of a small block. He's like, a lot of guys you see leave them in. He's like, Josh, take that off. Trust me, I lost one derby because the oil come out of that. And it's like, okay, and there you go. I screw mine in on every motor. So
somebody like him, they give you advice, you definitely take it. But
well, that's what it is. Like sometimes guys you really truly respect when they say something to you. It's like I'm gonna do that. You know, some other people you just ignore what they say. He was not one I ignored.
No,
if he
not
come
at all.
over to tell you something, it's like all ears. Yes, okay, I'm listening.
And the thing about Jesse is you didn't have to wonder what he was thinking because he would tell you. And if he didn't like something, he would tell you. But you respect somebody like that. You know, he never said anything behind your back. He would say it right to your face. And, you know, that was another thing I always liked about Jesse.
I can think of a couple times. I can think of one time at Penn Yan. I come down to second, and I was all by myself, just walking through the pits, walking to the car, you know. And Jesse was sitting on the end of Richie's trailer like he always sat, you know. And he stopped me, and he's like, that was a great run. That was great driving today. You really did well. And I just remember walking, kept going. It's like, dude, Jesse just said I drove good like that. He watched me. And that you know, sometimes when people say that, like, that you respect that much, it's like, okay, maybe I'm in this game.
Well, that was
maybe I'm in this game.
the year that you and I both ran Penn Yan. And after my heat, Jesse shook my hand and told me nice job. And I was like, whoa, that
Just
really
that he's
meant a
watching
lot.
you,
Yeah,
thinking like, oh, Decker's running good right
yeah,
now. I was like,
that-
oh my god,
that-
yeah, it's okay.
That definitely meant a lot.
That was just 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yep, two
Yeah,
or three.
2 or
yeah.
3 years ago, yeah.
With your St. Regis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Really-
no, it was
really
not.
opening-
No,
you had a
no,
green-
no.
Yeah.
No, it was not. It was a year before when I took Robbie Brown's.
No, when he told me that.
Oh,
it
yeah,
was the
yeah.
year you and I ran together.
It was the
No.
year before I got second place to Gil Martin when Gil Martin was on the wall for 7 minutes.
No, that didn't happen.
No, I saw it. I watched the tape.
After it had been built at the promoter's house.
Hey, no comment. Come on.
Whoa, that just what happened there?
Spiraled out of,
Man,
spiraled out of control.
He just went way.
I'll
way
tell you what,
back.
I was in a shocker that was bent, and it was funny because I'm like, Rob, I don't even want to take this. It's bent behind the arms, both sides. He's like, Josh, trust me, you know. And I get there, and Jesse's like, oh, I love them like this. I love them like this. They're gonna accordion, trust me, you know. I got second place, man. I went out there, heat and feature, got second place, you know, and they were right. The thing bent awesome, you know.
Did you see the 65 Chrysler that left you earlier, the white one with the black top?
I did not. That must be guy before I. Is that going to your house? Are you going to put that in the front yard? Or?
Was it your old one? Is that what you're gonna say?
Shut up. It's actually not, because mine's a 66.
Oh,
I've never had a 65.
You don't
Chrysler.
want 'em.
I had a 65 Imperial.
You don't want them. They got screwed up motor mounts. Pain in the
It
ass.
doesn't bother me.
Pain in the ass.
For my intents and purposes, I don't need to worry about motor mounts.
Chris wants to drive them things on the road.
I
Who
like-
ever thought of such a thing?
I had a 65 Imperial that I got to drive twice, maybe 3 times, but the giant crack and all the water in the interior, lack of an inspection sticker, even though I left this, the 10-day, I just set it out in the sun for a while so that it faded out. I had one, you can't read it. Drove it like 3 times, and then I realized it's really, really hard to stop 5,200 pounds with no brakes.
I love boxcar Imperial. I had a driver 65 too. I loved it.
It was a ton of fun until I tried to pull into the driveway because I was able to like kind of just take all right-hand turns until I got back home. Then I realized that I was going to park in the back of my garage by way of the front of the garage.
Where did you knock the windows out of yours around it?
Broome County.
Obviously.
Broome County. No, actually, the first one that I bought was like that, and then one time I bought one off Mark Benjamin, and I sold it for $2,500. I bought it for 12, sold it for 25, and that's what Mark Benjamin told me he was going to junk me for the next 8 years because you can't do that to Derby guys.
Did he junk you for the next 8 years?
Oh my God! At least till yes, a bunch, a bunch.
At least till he quit driving.
Yeah.
Josh, I mean.
Oh.
That's why Josh doesn't run around here anymore.
I hate it.
That's why Josh is going to Ohio this year. He's never won a feature in Ohio.
Hey, I haven't
You know
been
who's
jumped by
gonna-
those guys.
You know who you're going to see out there? Butch Cisco.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I heard
how
that.
awesome is that?
That's
cool.
awesome. And I guess Jim and one of the Gaskins.
Yep.
I guess they're
Matt
going.
Gaskin Sr., I believe.
Yeah, Matt Senior. They're all going out there.
Bash is shaping up good, man. Sounds great this year.
I don't know.
Excitement.
I don't know if you've heard any of the on the DL list of names of people who are running the turn back the clock class this year.
I heard some good ones.
This is shaping up to be one of the best bashes ever.
Are you
Yeah, I
talking
agree with
about the
that.
one that I'm talking about?
Probably.
Yeah.
I think he
Is that-
announced
that's, I thought that was announced.
Well, no, that's one, but there's some other names that are pretty big that I've heard.
In wagons.
Yes. No.
No?
The one I know is one's bringing a Buick Electra. One is bringing. I'm not
Wait a minute.
sure. Possibly a wagon. One, if what I heard today is true, will probably be in a wagon. Hard to believe for Bash for Cash. There'd be that many Chevy wagons. They usually go through about 30 a year there.
It's so weird because that area is so wagon addicted, right? Come back over here. Find a clamshell wagon in New York. You'll see 3 of them run this year. It's weird. You don't ever see them.
But in Ohio, they aren't junk after one run.
Well,
You build a Bash for Cash wagon and you run it all year.
see, it's interesting because I'll say to people like, "Yeah, I'm not impressed with Chevy wagons," and when I'm saying that, I'm not saying Ohio Chevy wagons. I'm saying New York. Because in New York, take them one shot in the back and you blow the home straight out of them.
Yeah.
But it's not like that out west.
No.
I mean,
no,
there's
we saw
ones
that.
that have got so many hours of runtime on. I mean,
Yeah,
Bash really blows my mind because Bash for Cash, like
You have to shut him off.
You
He's
run.
not yet.
He's towing a really fine line.
Listen, I know. I shut up. For you, let's imagine running a 1-hour heat. Okay, that to us is insanity. There'd be nothing left of anything you've ever built. Your best car ever could not run 1 hour.
No.
Now go fix it and bring
Yeah.
it back out for probably like an hour 20, hour 30 more.
But you know what, though? Last year at Bash for Cash, the heats weren't that long. They
No.
were like 30, 35 minutes. And It was
Really?
active in the
Yeah.
turn back the clock class. They said go, and they did. They were on the gas. They
The
were
features. No,
No.
we're talking about turn back
Yeah.
to clock
Yeah, the
class.
old school.
The-
80s, the kicker class was a little slow, but the turn back the clock was awesome.
The feature wasn't.
Not that
wasn't
Chris knows. I mean, he might have watched that video afterwards. He was a little busy, but
everybody told me that I would have loved it.
let the record show Chris was there for the best heat of the weekend, though. Standing next to me watching the wire class.
watching Pete Hansen chain smoke.
And for you got to admit, though, the 17 minutes that you watched out of Bash for Cash last year was great.
That was awesome.
that he was 9 minutes.
No, it was like 17.
Shut up. You weren't even there.
Yeah, trust me, we were there on the sidelines.
Dude, I just
Stop
watched
watching.
the video like 8 times.
It was more than that, I promise.
Nope.
Because you know why? Because they took the red flags out of it on YouTube.
well, that counts. That's not runtime. We didn't have a red flag sitting there. You actually.
It's total time on the
Chris,
track.
bring it up right
Time
now
on the
and
track.
put it on live and put it on so everyone can watch.
First,
prove that Brian's
no.
wrong.
Second-
Brian's wrong. Damn it.
You're not right. It was like 9 minutes long. Your motor's still running.
No, I would say when you're idling and stuff, it's actually a cool down period. Like in a red flag time, it's actually a time to let everything chill and get your fluids moving. So I don't consider that runtime.
Definitely run.
I would want red
Emerson
flags.
wanted-
Whose
Oh,
phone's
absolutely.
ringing?
Not ours. We're good. Keep talking. I wouldn't worry about it. Someone out in the audience.
Damn, can I have that phone?
Thought it was you.
No, my phone's off, and my phone is
You know what? Let's just fist fight and get
some
it
sort
over
of
with.
some sort of
not
heavy
fist
What's
fighting
metal.
the tension? I'll
I'm not,
fist
I'm
fight
not,
you.
I'm not fist fighting him.
I'll fist fight Brian.
Because,
Let's
you know,
you and me versus Brian. You take his knees, and I'll go top.
No, I'm not going to fist fight Brian.
You get behind him, and
Because I already know how to beat him. You just sit and crouch until he charges at you, and then you just...
yeah, no, you gotta go up. Ba-ba.
You know what? I can't wait till the next time Decker goes on the road with us, and I tie him to like tie him into a closet and just leave him, and we can have to
Listen.
play it and no one sees him again.
It would be so like that.
You just went way...
You're way up there.
It's going to be awesome when we go to Capital Carnage and Josh isn't on the show the whole week, and they're like, "Where's Josh?"
Did you see the
Decker?
post
Where's
from,
Josh
on the topic
Decker?"
of Capital Carnage? You see the post from Ultimate Derby
Yes, I
officially
wanted to
coming
talk
out?
about that.
Officially.
They will be teching the Climax 100,000 to win Derby.
I saw
Josh,
that.
what are you taking to that show?
And I seen guaranteed money.
Yes.
What are you taking to that?
I haven't seen the rules yet. I'll tell you what. I'm telling you, if it's not like, I just can't compete Blizzard Bash style rules. But if they would back
It's
the rules
not.
off,
It's
I
not
would
going to be
way
Blizzard Bash
more.
rules. It's going to be a
100,000?
limited weld style rules. I'm sure
100,000?
of it. You can't go full. You can't go full crazy.
How do
for
you not
100
bag
grand.
though? How does that not turn into? And I know it's. I know.
I guarantee you that there's going to be the measures in place that need to be there in order to keep that show entertaining. Because that's what Sam does. I mean, he makes sure that the shows are entertaining. You're gonna learn a lot about July, both good and bad.
Yes, from April.
In April.
I agree.
You're going to learn a lot. And I'll tell you right now that Sam is going to take what he sees in April and he's going to fix it and tweak on it, because he always does,
Absolutely.
and get things in line for when we get to Illinois in July.
By we, do you mean we Crash Course or we in general?
We Demolition Derby for today.
Just checking.
Just bear in mind that there's a couple continuing trends with the big Ultimate Derby.
Good shout out.
I'll agree with you that obviously, and same thing with Tory when he put his $20,000 stock derby. I mean,
Yeah,
they're doing things to keep the pace going, but has the true answer come out yet? Like, has
No.
someone come out with the answer to everyone's like, "Yep, that's what you do to keep the pace."
Now, I don't
Less
want to.
gas is my idea. I mean, I'd let 5 gallons
gallons.
and that's it. But that's I know
Now,
Derby guys don't like that answer.
Can we announce yet that somebody's building you a car for Capital Carnage, or is
right.
that?
You can do that, but
is
no
that
one's
still on
doing
the-
it.
I'll tell you right now,
Shelf?
hey, you're just throwing it out there. Usually in the full-size division, you don't see any parameters written on wheelbase, right?
Right.
Right.
And it's limited weld style rules and our assumption, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lumina.
No, hell no.
No, because you know what would happen?
Somebody else, yes. Me, no. That'd be
Somebody
embarrassing.
no, but just listen. This is my thing.
Lumina.
If you have a well
Camry wagon.
if you have a well built Vic or a well built GM, and you see one of those cars out there doing damage, sooner or later, two guys are gonna give the eye look, and one's gonna hold that car, and one's going to the other end of the track and hitting it at 70, and it's all done.
I would
Brad
say,
Tice style.
I don't know if I could do.
I've never
no.
seen Brad Tice hit any. Oh, sorry, never mind.
No,
My
he's
bad.
not. He's he's a local bagger. I mean, it is what it is. We're all friends here.
Not really.
You know who he should have hit?
Who?
Was his barber. He had to pay for that haircut.
Boom.
Well, and not for nothing, but I talked to Brad Tice at this awesome New Year's Eve party, and there was no Cadillacs for sale. And like 2 weeks later, I hear that there's a Cadillac that come from the Brad Tice farm to somewhere in Yates County. And
I heard he got 4,700 for it.
Yeah, that's
Something like that.
crazy.
57, yeah. He put car up the other day, man, and it sold like it.
Instant.
Listen, it's funny. You watch that Northeast page, you actually have to keep refreshing your page every about 5 minutes, or you just miss shit you want. Because
Yeah.
I mean, there's people buying stuff like sold.
I just wish I was
sold.
Josh Decker. People just call me and would say, "Hey, do you want this car for free?"
It's a lot easier.
I wish I could get it that way.
It's a
but
lot easier for me. Thank you.
Where were we were talking about something. What how Josh was going to win that $100,000 Derby.
Yes, that's the one.
Oh my God, I'd retire right then if you won $100,000 like that.
Well, I think that Derby is going to ruin somebody, because you're going to get $100,000 and you're going to buy the best of everything right away. And
Well,
you're
let's
gonna
be honest, so
and you're going to have a million friends. The first thing you need to do is get in touch with a financial advisor
Yes.
and a.
Chances are, though, if you win that show, you already have the best of everything. Let's be
$35,000
really honest.
is going to go right in the taxes.
Oh, yeah.
Right
so,
away.
So
Right
you
off
want,
the top.
you want in the 60s.
And then yeah,
Right
And
at
only
the top.
spend that amount. Trust me.
Right off
and then
the top.
and then shut your Facebook and your phone off, because you're going to have friends.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
But what do you do? Like, let's say you win that. Obviously, you had a great drivetrain. So is that guy really going to go buy a all new drivetrain? No, his is the best. They
Yeah.
just won $100,000.
Yeah.
You know?
If it's at a Crown Vic, you're going to go out and buy 30 more Crown Vics and 40 more Crown Vics. And life is
You
good.
know what?
You're going to sell everything you have at Demolition Derby
And retire.
and retire.
Think of this
Use
game
that-
changer. Think of this game changer, right? Demolition Derby. When you win money, what
wish
do
I
you
had
do
a-
with it? You invest it back in the sport. Almost always. Imagine Demolition Derby evolving, where guys are winning so much money. It'd be like living. You could pay your house off. People are getting out of debt just by being Demolition Derby
Well,
drivers.
that's what you've done with your winnings,
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Bankrupt. Been in my house is double wide. Goddamn.
I love your garage, though.
When did you expand it?
I put a porch on.
I didn't know you
I
added
put two of
on.
them together.
Oh,
I thought you were
We
going to
haven't
scrap that
built
one.
a-
I didn't know you were going to weld it together half.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
we haven't been able to abuse Josh in a while. This is great,
I
man.
know, it's been a
I
while.
miss it.
It's been a while.
So, Chris Marquardt, how's your
I've been
Saturday
working
going?
on new material about Josh about the blisters on his hands, but I haven't been able to flesh it out.
I heard he's been playing a lot of video games. He hasn't been real busy
He's
working.
playing
Any of my
a ton of
friends
it.
know I've been building. I got 2 cars
Wait,
done.
stop right there.
Let's
I
be
got a third
honest.
parking
No,
lot.
let's be
Hang
honest.
on 1 second, just 1 second. We
By
all know
we, he means the 10 guys that worked
No
on New
one has
Year's
helped
Eve.
me.
no one has helped him,
No
which
one.
means they're going to go to shit.
Oh, my God. That's horrible to say.
Truthful, but horrible. I mean,
Oh, my gosh.
I know I probably shouldn't curse on the show. It means they're going to go to crap.
Hey, not for
my-
nothing. Ben did say he'd come down and check out Bandow's car before it goes to Ohio. 'Cause he
Bandow's
wants that
car.
He
You
wants
are
that to
on
hold
your
up
own.
well.
No, Bandow's is good to go. I mean, it's a wire class. I mean, what? Yeah, you must do to it. You can't screw up a lot on a wire class car.
Well,
Right there, 146.
No.
Mark those words.
Send it, junk it. I don't care, you know.
No, I just want to point something out because my kid brought this up to me. It wasn't anything that anybody in Demolition Derby mentioned. He said, "How's Josh doing?" And I said, "Well, he's trying to find his job." He goes, "I know. He's been home working on derby cars, and he keeps telling me he's going to come play the video games, and he had all this time, but he never
let's
made it
go
to
to your
my
house right now.
Never made it to my house."
You
that's
got to bring
terrible.
your kid down because my kid plays that Eva Destruction like crazy, right?
You broke a 7-year-old's heart. How does that
Actually,
make
my
you feel?
kid's 6, but it doesn't bother Josh.
Wow, that's
Still have the
terrible.
pictures he made me. They're hanging up in my garage wall. Come on.
That is terrible.
He's like, I
I'm not
wanted
a
to
good
play.
person.
I mean, behind me, you're his favorite driver.
I'm not a good person.
So I told him, Josh has been busy. He's got to build cars for Sam Bandow. And the 6-year-old look, so is he ever going to come and play Matchbox or not? And I said, probably not.
Yeah,
He's way too cool
He's
for us
way
now.
My
too
son
important.
says the same things.
Is your son to where he beats you on the video game every
Oh
time?
my
you
No
play?
way.
gosh. Oh
No.
my gosh. My kid smokes me.
We just out of the blue, because this is the only time of year we let our kids play video games is from like November to March. So he's been playing Eva Destruction. So he's like, "Dad, come play with me." And I'm like, "All right." And I'm like, "Whoa, I haven't played in a few years," and he is just like crushing me. And like I'll be hitting somebody, and he'll drive you right out of the ballpark, and then just start laughing. And I'm like, "Really, kid?"
Well, we were playing for a while, and then I was if you push square, you can like slide around, turn faster.
Yep.
My kid didn't know that, so I taught my kid that. The next day, my kid was smoking me, man. I couldn't even every time I tried to line him up, bam, bam, bam. I was out so fast. I was like, damn.
So now it's on the track and on the TV. He gets beat like that. That's terrible.
Bolacqua calls in. He's like, "Hey, I'm
Does
having
your-
a youth derby." And so I'm like, how
Does
old's
your
the
kid
gonna be?
pretend to be Gary Brown?
No. I'd slap him. No. Better not be other people. No. So the other day, though, I'm like, "Hey, Trent, I just heard that they're going to have youth derby. You can run your first dirt derby. I'm going to go pick up your car today." "What kind of car is it, Dad?" I'm like, "It doesn't matter, It better be a good one, Dad. I don't want one rusty." And I'm like, "All right, I'll get you." I go, "How about this? We'll buy a couple, and you can do like a whole career. You can start your career this year." "Nah, I don't feel like it this year. Maybe next year, Dad." I'm like, "Okay, if I could have had that, I'd been like, yes, my son. Nah, maybe next year, Dad."
Not to change the subject, but you see, I don't know, it's probably a month ago now, Josh put up a picture of him and his mom when he was little, and him and Trent could be like identical
Yes.
twins. I was just
He
like,
does.
wow. But the amazing thing is, though, is Trent is a very good-looking young man, and back then, Josh was a handsome young man. I'm not real sure what happened later in life, but
I'll answer that later.
Okay.
I had a rough life.
okay.
That's what it comes down to.
You had a rough life.
Yeah.
You?
Well, I mean, up until the point he got famous and started derby all
I
over
struggled.
the country.
I still struggle, trust me.
I would I would love to hear what your version of struggle is.
Oh, please. Please.
Oh, well, I mean, let's think about it. He wasn't able to run in Minnesota this year. I mean, that's
I know.
That's kind of rough on him.
I really was like that morning when all the pictures were going. I was like, damn, I started itching. Like, man,
There was
you know,
a
I'd
lot
really
of
like to
Facebook
be
traffic
the
on that
snow.
show,
Yeah,
wasn't there?
There was
Like
a lot.
Facebook was full.
Yeah.
Full.
And there's some interesting possibilities for next year. So we'll
seen
see
that,
how Winter Slam goes.
We'll see what happens. Tony Brellinger, keep making your own stuff and doing what you're doing.
You know, it's tough because, like,
Burkhart.
and talking
jeez,
talking to Randy
Burkhart.
when he was here, they're at their max. There's nothing they can do at that facility. You are at your max. People in the stands, cars there, and trailers.
There was a sizable increase in fans this year. Like
I think so. I mean, there's people that were arguing
that.
that point, but I think there was more people there this year than there was last year.
Yeah. No
Well,
doubt.
let's say even car-wise, right? You
you're-
can't take one
car-wise,
to
you can't.
140. It's crazy because if you would have done 160, 180, 200, all those that's 4 people per person, roughly.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the thing is that forces everybody to get their stuff in. I mean, I don't think there's any other derby that was. Well, I don't want to say any other derby. There's a select few derbies at this point that are in a situation where they don't have to worry about entries. Because every year they have a new influx of drivers. Look at that chain class. There's more than half full of first-time drivers.
Yeah, I like that.
And look at the drivers that didn't run. You can start naming a bunch of drivers off. Colton Newhoff, and we didn't see him. Brandon Tice didn't run. Muse
Rosno didn't run.
Rosno
didn't run.
Zacharias hasn't been there the last 2 years. Dustin Yoni didn't have a car
Yep,
there.
yep,
There's a number of guys that didn't run. And those spots were filled without a second thought.
Yeah,
So, I mean, in terms of 140 cars, they don't have to worry about that. This
No.
sort of built-in capacity now, and they've been working towards that. If they move off location, they move away from all their help.
Yeah.
Off location, they move away from all their help. End of
But-
that.
But also, I agree with you, but, you know, Randy's a businessman.
Oh, yeah.
So as a businessman, and we talked about this before, you always want to keep going up.
No, absolutely.
You don't want to stick at a plateau. Yeah, could Randy just sit there at that 140? I mean, he's got to make this decision, but he could sit there at that 140 and just keep 140 forever. Or do you want to keep growing? You're going to do the day. You're going to be there. Don't you want to maximize profits? You want to try at least?
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I mean, you know, you've also got to be smart about trying to. What's it going to cost you to maximize your profits by going to a different venue? Now you have to ship all your skid steers in. You lose a local base of help. You lose a local base of,
agree with all that.
you know,
People,
the
just the people that
familiarity.
come.
Yeah,
Yes.
the local fan base. Look at how much additional travel has to happen in order for Jeremy to go prep the track someplace else. You know, they're moving 50 miles away. That's Waterloo to Rochester.
Yeah, that's crazy. Don't say that on there.
Why?
Waterloo, you can't say that on there. Josh
Oh,
Field,
yeah,
it's
I know.
man.
I forgot.
But and the thing is though, is there's such a niche there. Like I mean, we've touched on it a million
It's
times.
a destination show now. You have to be there. You want to be there at the coldest one so that you can brag to all your friends that you were there at the coldest one.
And if we could just figure out how to get from Rochester or Syracuse there without going through 26 hours in airports, we would be golden.
Through Chicago.
But not only that, but like as most derby guys, we start getting burnt out around that September, October time. You're virtually kind of burnt out, and as soon as the holidays kind of get done, you kind of get into that
Start
rhythm of
getting
derbying
itchy.
again. Yeah, and I was. I mean, all the pictures are coming in. It's like, you know, and same thing when Sturgis was going there. All the pictures come through. It's like, damn, you know, I want to go watch a derby today, and it's February.
And the thing is this one's outside.
Yeah,
So I mean,
no
you've got all the outside elements and everything. It's pretty cool.
I was a little jealous. I was talking with Todd and Steve on that day, and he sent me a screenshot, and I think their temperature was somewhere around 70.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
So, but
So
I mean,
it was 73 in Bradenton, Florida, and the swing to match the temperature where we were was a 76-degree drop.
I know.
-3.
But you know what though? Honestly, in all reality, the only thing that
If
really
you
got
say
cold on
it
me-
wasn't that cold,
in all reality, without the wind, I didn't think it was bad. My toes got cold, but other than that, really, because I mean, watching the Derby, you know, and I was, like I said, I touched on. I was out with Ben watching inspection, and you know, obviously he was pointing a lot of stuff out to me, and I was learning.
the
a lot of stuff,
reason
but-
why you weren't nearly as cold and you were able to watch the Derby and just focus on that is because when we're at a live show, our stress levels are way different.
Well, we've touched on
My
that
my
100
plate
times.
my plate of concern is much.
Is there-
my plate of concern is full of stresses about cameras and equipment. Your plate of concern is full of McDonald's.
I didn't have McDonald's last weekend at all.
Well, but it's kind of like a blue whale. You know, they're like covered. They have like I don't know what you call it, but you know, like
blubber,
Brian's a
I
little more
believe,
warmer. Blubber.
But listen,
Insulates them. I
listen,
don't want
though,
to say it out loud, but it does.
in all reality, though, we've touched on this too. Is at a live show, Are you or myself or Ben, do we touch anything
No.
other than what
No,
Chris says?
you
Okay,
don't.
so that's why Chris is up here, and we go out and enjoy the show and come back, and life is great.
Ben was doing a great job running the camera, and then it gave him the warning that the capacity was full, and he throws his hands up. I'm like, no, it's still running. It's still. Oh, I didn't know. So he brought it back on and started following the cars again. But he thought like it was just the party was over. I'm like, no.
Actually, that and on time because you had like 10 minutes left of it, and then it was over. It wasn't that much later after.
No,
that.
but that was the second time.
Yeah, that was the second time.
Oh,
It was cool.
The thing is all those warnings that come up on those cameras, it
all went
immediately
on.
it all goes right to the stream. So
The cool thing was that for the first time, a bunch of guys that I work with watched one of our shows. Were like, man, that was really cool, and you guys did a good job. And so it was pretty cool to have that happen. I mean, it was neat to hear.
what did you say back when they said you did a really good job?
I know.
I said, thank you, I appreciate
No,
it.
that's the wrong answer. You're supposed to say obviously.
Avi, my son says.
I'm,
Avi.
I'm not Josh Decker.
Never
I'm
again.
still
Third grade
appreciative.
talk.
I'm still appreciative
Avi.
for the great things I've been
Never.
doing. So.
Sorry, I got kids. It's-
Never again.
My kid's always saying it. It's like Avi, Dad. It's like, what does that mean?
I think if my kid said Avi Dad to me, I'd probably give him a clothesline
He's
from
9
hell.
years old, 10 years old.
Yeah, but you know what? He's gonna grow up and act like you someday. You could straighten that stuff
Think
out
how
now.
awesome he's gonna be.
I believe that was the
That's
Undertaker's
scary.
move, right? The clothesline from hell.
No, that was Bradshaw.
Bradshaw. Yeah.
Come on, Chris. You are, besides knowing everything about derbying and racing and RC derbying, you know everything about wrestling. I'm disappointed that you didn't.
RC Derby happening today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ohio's
big
got
show.
1,000 to win show. Figured they're going to have 50 cars there, and then Motorama in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. They got one down there with Ed Brewster. He's got their show going down there. The winners of those shows both qualify to come to the Jailbreak show that we're having March. What day is it? March 20th in Auburn Mall.
Nice. I might venture over to that. I may. Do you have a car ready for me, or is that just for Josh?
We can buy it all.
The field is a little depleted right now. I got to do a little bit of work and get some stuff back together.
Well, stop
but we should be
sleeping.
good.
He does.
I know, right?
Stop sleeping. I'll tell your wife. Don't let him sleep. Get some stuff done.
Yeah, he was on his door. I think this year though in Minnesota, I think he got like 2 or 3 hours sleep Friday night.
Wow,
Like
so
I'm
you're
not
feeling
sure
great.
what happened.
You were not a zombie. Like
Now
usual.
Sunday morning he didn't get a whole lot of sleep. There was things looked rough when we went and picked up the Marquards on the way
I don't
home.
even know what happened.
Yeah.
I was hanging out with Jake Sherman. I was there with Brandon Tyson, and all of a sudden, there was nobody in our room, and there was just beer cans everywhere.
I
don't know what
Ben and I
happened.
walked in, and I'm like, this eerily reminds me of like a frat party from college. And,
It was
it was terrific.
bad. I don't know where everybody went. The Lancaster was there for a while.
And then,
Rosno was there for a while.
And then we got in the car, and Ben flew us to Minneapolis.
We made good time.
Ben hop in.
Well, it was funny because I kind of had a rough day Friday, but I got to Chris's house a little late, and he's like, we're late. Ben's like, I'm not driving. I already got a ticket in New York. And I'm like, okay. So I drove to Rochester, and then Ben drove once we got to Minnesota. We made good time.
Hey, one thing before I wanted to talk about too. We almost touched on it was down in Florida when Winter Slam was going on. JC Molly's in that whole group, Siopas, everybody, they all got together for Brandon.
Yep.
And I don't know if you guys saw that when you were out there, but like it was just being shared all over. And
Very cool.
He made it out there, got to take pictures with Siopas and all
Yep.
that. And
Todd gave him his Mad Dog money.
I seen they gave him a trophy.
I gave him all 3 trophies.
awesome
The top
guys.
3
Why
guys
not?
they gave their first and second, and then Todd's Mad Dog. They gave them all to him, gave him the money. So yeah, that
Very
was
special. You could
very,
see it was,
very cool.
and you could see the kid was really enjoying himself. You know?
Brandon now has more trophies than Josh Decker.
Yes, you do. You have. How many? You have 3. You have 2 more.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah, it was so cool, and I mean, we know ourselves how much the Siopas help, and they definitely helped to make that young man's day pretty special.
And that's
so.
what it's about. I mean, at the end of the day, we derby, but like, if
Help
you get a
people.
chance to derby for something positive, like that was a really positive thing. And it wasn't just the Siopas and
No.
JC Molly. It was everyone at derbies in Florida. They
Yeah.
all got together and we're doing a lot of positive things for that young man. And I don't know, I thought it was really great.
Absolutely.
I like seeing that stuff. And the more and more we can do, the better. The more the sport will grow if we're doing good things.
Good
in
things
it.
for people.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
I agree.
On the topic of good things for good people, Cliff Donnelly's benefit is, I believe it's from 2 to 6 on the 28th. That's coming up next weekend. I
saw him here today, actually.
The Donnelly Strong shirts are done and out. He's got a pile of those things that he's
And
going
I'm
to
here
be
to tell you,
raffling off.
the
There's
stuff
some
they're
good
raffling
stuff
off.
there.
I know. I'll be
Overkill's
there.
got some parts there. I think Brodzinski sent some stuff out
Yeah,
there.
I think everybody. Pretty
Everybody.
much everybody you could name, I think has sent something there. So that's really good, supporting one of our own.
Yeah, Cliff's a good dude. It's
You know, you're talking about how much your kids look like you, and we talked about Brandon. Have you seen pictures of Cash?
My goodness.
oh, that's his kid. That is
I think
100% his kid.
I think he's 6 foot tall already too.
Cash,
I think
Cash and
he's-
Violet look just like Sam and Brandon.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's such a great name. I like that
Cash,
name.
that's pretty cool.
I like that.
Well, I mean, you were going to name your son Dre, right? And then,
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
Katie talked you out of
Yeah,
it.
my mom would have
Thank
loved
God.
that. My mom would have loved that. Real Italian name. Though.
I think it would have been cool, like Tupac Dre or Dre
No,
Tupac
gosh,
Decker. Or
my mom would lose her mind.
your mom would have loved anything you did because you were a baby.
I think Alexander's a
That's
good
true.
name. You should have.
That's my brother's kids. They're named Alexander.
I didn't know he named his kids that. I knew your brother's name
Yeah,
was that.
his kid's name is Alex Jr.
Oh, I didn't know that. We're gonna
Stop,
turn
am I
this.
Ben? Stop. I'll
Yep,
talk
you
to
are.
you
You're
next time. I'll talk.
talking over there to the
Hey,
wall.
Ben.
I think
I love when you do this to Ben because like Ben gets so
I know,
like,
he
gets
hates
mad.
it,
He-
but-
Don't touch that mic.
Well,
I think
people
Ben
want to
is,
hear what you say.
I think Ben is cheering his daughter on today. I think she
Yes.
had 2 basketball
She had 2
games today,
games.
so hopefully she's doing well.
Or when
She,
Chris goes like this to Ben, Ben goes like this.
for the first time ever last week, Chris had to tell me to speak more into the microphone. It's like, you're quiet. And I heard some of it, and I actually was quiet. I didn't realize it.
Ben's like smart about it. Like he's not doing it on purpose, but like as a somebody that talks because everyone starts listening because like Ben's over here like this. You know, it's like, what's he saying? What's he saying? So you really get into what Ben's saying.
Yeah,
You're like,
you don't
listen
wanna
to
miss
every
anything.
word. It's like, okay, I'm listening, Ben. I'm listening.
You don't want to miss anything.
Brian's just yelling in the mic.
Yeah,
I'm
every
quiet,
time,
man.
all the
That's-
time.
You're just yelling.
Usually I try to volume myself down a little bit, but
Voice of modulation.
well, after the speakers blew at the first Bo show last
That was awesome.
Three of them.
That was
Three
cool.
of them. Dusted.
I blame that on Josh Decker. The show he put on at his
Yes.
heat. That was his fault.
I picked up a bow car yesterday. I think I'm going to run a bow show. I
That's
think I'm going
awesome.
to try to get to the second one. The first one is the same as Capital Carnage.
I really wanted to go run one of Bo shows this year. It was a toss up. I talked with Ben about running Coos but I'm like, man, I would love, because it was looking like I was gonna have a chance to do the stuff I wanted to do in order to run one of Bo shows this year. But
Just buy a non-caddy. Just go buy yourself
Yeah,
a
buy something.
$1,000 Buick and just
No, dude.
What's the difference?
because I want a caddy to make junk for a little while.
Well, that's true.
You know what I mean? Because I know I'm not gonna win it, but I at least want people to know I was there.
I know there's a bunch of New York guys going down. I know Dan's planning on going and goes and go. I want to go down there
Old man
myself.
Dan Guffrey? Or
No, Dan Bolton.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say. Yeah, I was talking with him at I think it was at your house New Year's Eve party.
I think that one. The first one is same as Capital Carnage, April 30th. The second one's in the middle of July sometime, which I want to go to that one. The
You might
last
not
one's
be at that
Labor
one either.
Day. Well, the one that's in Labor Day, the last one there,
September
I know
4th
I'm
and
not.
5th.
I'm not gonna be able to make. There's so many derbies that day also, and I'm not gonna make any of them. So, I try to get to one of both shows. I got a shocker. I figure I'll make junk with it. Just send it.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I was gonna do truck, but Bo's truck rules are like modified, and
You
I got
had one of
scared.
those.
Yeah, and it got bent. And that
Really?
thing was hard.
He
They
bent
bent
it?
it everywhere. It's
Really?
junk.
Wow.
That one that Joker gave me last year,
Sold you.
everyone saw that was here.
Yeah.
They bent it all over the place.
Really?
Joker had 9 runs on it with no bends. Corey Roman junked it all over the place. He said he waffled it everywhere behind the A-arms. Under the box or cab, everywhere. It was just
That's
all
crazy.
S-curved out. Remember the first shot he took? He come off the line like all the way down, like 40. He said he bent it right in the first shot. Remember he got hung up inside that Suburban?
That's crazy.
That was a strong truck.
Suburbans. You know who the first person I saw run a Suburban?
Jesse Howe.
Jesse Howe with a Chrysler New Yorker Brome bumper on the front of it.
The brown one?
Yep.
Him and Richie, and the night that they the triple challenge, him and Richie backed way up. It might have been Robbie. They hit nose to nose, full track. And Jesse's a big guy. He hit so hard nose to nose that Jesse slid under the steering wheel. I don't know if you remember it. Where's Andy Vona? He was just in here. He would remember it. Jesse got hit so far, he went under the steering wheel, and he was up like this. He's a big dude. He had to scoot under it. And I remember him saying, like, that might have been the hardest I've ever been hit.
Yeah.
He was hurting for days.
That's insane.
It was a true full track shot with 2 3/4-ton Suburbans with
Wide
pointies
open.
on the front, wide open, true full track.
Yeah.
Oh, it was dumb hard. It was dumb hard.
One of those you wouldn't want to do it, but it was cool to watch.
Oh my gosh. Well, when you see Jesse come out of the seat,
Yeah.
under the steering wheel, like his stomach had to go underneath the steering wheel.
Yeah.
It's like, man, his legs were all cramped and
Did he eat, but he then won the heat.
he won it. He back up the seat and he won it. He did. I think right on that shot, I think it was Richie that he hit, but whoever he hit was done, and he backed up, and that was virtually the end of it.
When we came down, we drove by the old Shangri-La Speedway, and I'm like,
A lot of memories there for them.
Seen Jesse win a few shows down there.
Pavement.
Yeah, that was awesome. I don't know if I'd ever want to run. Younger, I would have ran on Pavement, but man, they were always great to watch.
I love
Always a good
Pavement in
show.
Florida. I really enjoyed it. You know where it's dangerous is sideways.
Oh,
Up and down,
yeah.
it's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Because the grip you get when you shift and your tires go to drive, it goes to drive. I mean, you feel you feel it all. Well, you get sideways.
Steve Siopa said he ruined a pair of curb kickers last week. One run, they were junk after running on asphalt.
Yeah. Wow.
On the gas. I don't know if you watched it or not, but you could hear his vortex.
Oh, I watched
it.
it.
Was running.
You know, it's funny. Todd messaged me that he's going to beat Steve this time. I'm going right after him. I'm going to beat him. And he's like, he's running his vortex. I said, well, I don't know then. And he goes, well, it's knocking, so I'm going to beat him. And I see it made it through it, even knocking.
No doubt.
I'm building one myself because I've just been so impressed with that motor.
He'll find another vortex and win 15 or 16 more derbies with it.
You know, for the guy that's trying to budget build, I mean, Vortex is no brainer. You know, a
Magnum
Magnum on a
Magnum and
LS
vortex.
To me, an LS, you're spending a little bit more because you got to buy the $800 kit to transfer it
Did
over.
you see? Not to change subject completely, but did you see the car that was in Winter Slam that had the 6.0 vortex in it?
Yes.
Or the 6.0
Are you talking about
LS?
Jason Cox?
Yes.
Oh boy, that looked good, and they junked it.
And they had converted it to a distributor and a mechanical fuel pump.
No coil packs.
No coil packs. The guy that built it was there, and unfortunately, I saw his name on Facebook again this week. Oh, brain sneeze, and Ben tagged it. But I mean, just the guy he machined out the water pump so he could get all the stuff in it and built it, and then he built an incredible cradle around it. Just very
Ben
top
said
notch.
it was amazing.
Oh,
Ben said it
beautiful.
was probably one of the nicest setups he'd seen there, and it sounded sick.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
and he wasn't. I mean, he was running. He was Rick Englehart shifting. I mean, he just held it on the floor and low to reverse, man, and it was very
Did he have bumper
impressive.
shocks on the front of that? Did you get to look at? I'll ask Ben.
It
bent sky high.
No, but they didn't plate the frame. You know how they can put the plate on it? He didn't plate it. And we were talking, actually it was with Brennan, and I said, and he said that a lot of times the older Fords like that, and we were talking with, name escapes me, Ben and I talked to him for quite a bit, Nick Catella. And they said, a lot of times with the older Fords, if you weld that on it, it'll take the temper right out of the steel. And it actually weakens it by putting that plate on it.
The plate on it?
Yep, the extra plate.
See, I've seen guys run bumper shocks like how Jesse built mine.
Yep.
Was put a bumper shock on the top and kind of bend the bumper shock to the side of the rail on the back. I thought it was amazingly hard, but the problem is everyone's going to bend right at the firewall.
Yep.
So it's interesting. I said to Ben, like, man, that's one of the few cars, if you look through the pictures, that's sky high in the front of the A-arms, but like you said, everyone else that plated doesn't bend in front of the A-arms.
Yep.
So he actually absorbed some in front of the A-arms, then later started to bend behind the A-arms. Maybe a better idea, you know?
It was an awesome setup, though. I mean, very, very nice, front to back, top to bottom.
It's tough, though. You make one thing harder, and it just then
Something
you're
else
bending
is
the
gonna
next
bend.
thing faster, And Sherman and I were talking about Bash for Cash Warrior class. He was talking about running a Malibu or Olds Cutlass or something, and they have the swoops in the front. I said, why would you run that? They're junk. They bend in front of the A-arms. Well, that's what I want. Wouldn't you want to bend in front of the A-arms before you're bending behind? Your motor and everything is staying. And it had me thinking, forget the old way of thinking. Maybe on a stock class, if you just bent sky high in front of the A-arms, you might last longer than everyone else bending real fast behind them.
Yeah, it's, half dozen one, 60 other. It's either way. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Sometimes, I was always the kind of guy that run a little bit softer bumpers. I'd run Cordoba bumpers on the front of my shockers, and it's because I let my bumpers take the abuse and less on my frame. Other people tell me I'm an idiot.
It's funny because we were just talking about that when we grabbed something to eat and on the way down, and we were talking and we talked about the first Caddy I ran, and I ran a junk bumper on the front of that, but I never bent the frame like I did on the one I ran this last year.
Correct.
And that's I went to a Chevy bumper this year, but.
Bandow and I talk about Bandow's the same theory as me, is run a softer bumper. Not in the class. I'm not talking about when you're running DPs and tranny braces and you're trying to keep everything hard. But if you're running a softer car, no braces, and you're going to bend, let your bumper.
Yeah, control
think if
it.
your bumper absorbed 4 shots that day and the frame did not take them, instead of the frame taking the bam, 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 obviously your frames are going to last longer.
Yeah. What do you think, Chris?
There's guys that tell you you're totally wrong. Load a bumper and send it. Out west, in Minnesota, it's more that.
Oh, absolutely.
Their mentality is more, don't let it bend in front of the A-arms, and who cares about behind. But
Brandon had never seen well, I guess I don't know if never is the right way to put it, but one of the first times he'd ever taken a shock and run it through the frame.
Oh yeah.
He never really experienced that much until he got out here for, I think it was the King's of Old School show. He saw that and he goes, "That's brilliant." It's like, well, that's 30-year-old technology.
Yeah,
New York style.
I'm a Mopar guy.
There's a couple ideas that here in New York that have moved their way west and are pretty good.
Somebody was
ideas.
questioning the logic of Sam Bandow's door wraps for Bash for Cash are over here, and I did all of them up for the New York guys that are going out. They're all the same. They all say New York style on them, and somebody was questioning the logic of having a guy from Minnesota with New York style on the side of it. I said, well, he's going to have to drive that way to earn that title.
I don't think you have that problem.
No, Sam fits right in with our group.
It was funny.
Sam fits right in.
I talked with Sam after Winter Slam, and some of the driving in the weld car or the weld class wasn't quite as aggressive as Sam is on the track usually, and he made that pretty obvious to me. So
Yeah, he'll let guys know.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. But then I mean, he builds stuff and then runs it that hard. So he's definitely one of our favorites.
Well, I like him a lot too because he'll go from stock class to a modified class and everything in between. And that's kind of our style. I mean, we'll run whatever we got to that day.
What's going on? Hey, you're right in front of the camera. Like you need to take a step to the side. We're live. What do you got? Okay. Set it right behind the table.
Yeah, Chris, do that for me too.
Chuck Bucknam,
Twice.
I got some.
2-time winner of the Northeast Championship.
Don't you already get everything
Chuck
that Chris
Bucknam's
does?
won like $70,000 in the last 5 years. Right, Chuck? Don't deny it. We know it.
Well,
Won like 10 grand, like back to back, right? 7,500 and 10 grand, right? Yeah. Nah, not bad.
I mean, he's not Josh Decker, but he does okay.
I haven't don't get me going, man. I ain't winning
wait a
anywhere
minute.
near that.
Josh, wasn't Chuck one of the guys you were going to run over?
Yeah, right.
Sooner or later, or was that
Chuck,
just?
I never said that.
Was that behind the doors? You didn't want him to
You're
know
one
about
of
it?
those.
I think Chuck was one of the guys you were going to run over. I think you said after you ran over him, you were going to slap him. That's your chance. He's
No,
right here.
I didn't say that. Chuck knows.
I've seen Chuck do very well in a lot of derbies.
Yes.
With stuff that it doesn't look like there's anything left to do well with. Remember he had no steering at the Keystone Nationals. Pete Hansen had a win and he had no steering as well, but he took that car down to 7th. There was nothing left behind the pillar on the front or rear for that matter. It was just folded. He ended up 7th with it.
I was watching a super stock. I think it was a super stock, and maybe a heat number 2. Were you in heat number 2? One of them. Your car was just been ugly forever, and you just kept going and going and going. It's like right in the middle. It's like, oh man, Chuck might be done, and now you were marching forever in it.
Dan,
I remember it.
We would have been done. Guys like Chuck, they just
I
keep going.
agree.
It's all
Well,
good.
he's got a great drivetrain, and that
No
really
doubt.
is what it comes down to.
Yep.
Drivetrain's important.
what motor have you what motor have you got for this year?
Redline. Yeah.
Red line.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the Grop too?
Josh, how'd you like to walk out into your shop and go, should I run the red line this week or should I run the Grop this week?
Do you have a guard too?
No, I got a China CNM.
CNM. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
That's why I don't win
just pick.
$7,500 in a derby.
Just pick whichever one's got the least amount of runtime on it. Go ahead and choose it. Could be the red line, could be the Grop. It's up to you.
Right now, I'd go Redline just because that has been on fire lately.
I just stick with my Magnum, so then if I broke it, I wouldn't cry.
You can replace it for cheap.
Yeah, I got another one sitting in a
Go
pickup.
back to the junkyard.
You know, it's funny because my girlfriend, I was talking about motors. I said, I got to go pick up. I just bought another good motor, hon. And she's like, she looks at me like, seriously? How did you have that money? And I said, no. She's thinking like, hon,
No, not
$300.
the good motors we talk
My
about.
motor's
The motors for us.
$300. Not $3,000.
But you know what? We've touched on it a million times. I mean, if you're going to run the big shows, you're going to invest that money because you have a better chance of making it back. So, I mean, if you're going to run that level, you have to have something that's not going to let you down.
If you're going to go to that level, you can expect, but it's not going to happen, that your $300 motor is going to outrun these ones that guys are spending money. It's just not how it is.
No.
But if you have a $300 motor, you need to. I don't go out trying to run 45 minutes with a Magnum.
If you're saying to yourself that I can go out and run any of those shows because the motor that I run at my county fair, it never shuts off. It's got plenty of power. It never gets hot.
No,
I
I've
don't
been
have
there.
that problem.
How long did you run in your heat last year at the first show? You ran for quite a while.
8 minutes.
About 9. Yeah, no, what you're talking about?
Yeah.
20 something. But if I run a true radiator, I would have been fine heat wise.
But I mean, you were running hard. I mean, it wasn't
was
like you were
running
taking
hard.
it easy, and that motor held up well. During
No,
that.
but I just watched Winter Slam. Okay, look at Mitch Carlson's car at the end of the
yeah.
Derby, head to head, still beating on a guy. The thing's not even steaming. I mean, my Magnum would not have been like that, and you have to realize when you pull that on the
In
track.
that weather, it might have stayed cold.
The guy the guy that won had a guard, so I mean, you know that's going to run
Guard
pretty good.
he's proven. I mean, guard stuff's proven. That's
Yeah.
It's won hundreds of thousands of dollars guard motors.
Last year it won.
Yeah.
But
But I think some people will listen. You go to a Derby and you're running against a bunch of Baldwins, and you got an old Chevy 350. You can't get upset when that baby gets hot and those guys run for another 15 minutes. It's not. You can't say like these guys are cheating. Remember back in the days, like these guys cheat. They lasted longer.
but
Their drivetrains are.
But
10
you know what
times
you
better
can do?
than yours.
You can hold your $300 motor right to the floor
For the first 10 minutes.
and try to ruin everybody's day.
That happened to me at Brookville. Like it was getting to the point where the radiator box that I run, I know I can steam for like 20 minutes. That's how much water's in it. Like so much water. Well, after 5-10 minutes of it, I'm starting to say to myself, like, okay, I know you're hot now. Someone better turn it up. There's 8 cars left. I got to get to 4. I just turned it up.
Yep.
And one guy pissed me off. I turned it up. And there's other
Absolutely.
guys. If you watch that, especially when it gets down to a bunch of cars, there's some guys that just bagged it waiting for the end to happen. And then there's other guys that said, like, no, I'm making the end happen. And that's why I like both shows a lot. There was such a wide variety of drivers. It wasn't just like a whole bagger derby or a wide open derby. It's like everything in there.
But you know what? Even at his Keystone National show, I mean, the weld class was intense.
It's always
those
good.
guys were driving hard. I mean, when we talked about it, Brad Tice, his car bent in front of the rear tires on a Rivy. And that's where it bent. I mean, how hard hitting does it have to be to do that on a Riviera?
Yeah.
With the way they can be built there. That's
How hard's the back
nasty.
end to make that be the weak point?
Yeah,
Right.
It's insane. And I mean, Steve Siopa. Steve almost won the show, and his was starting to go down in the front. How hard do you have to hit something to make that go down in the front?
You got to
that
think. I mean, they're not just doing. It's not the rails bending forward. They got gas tank protectors in there pushed up
Yeah.
against package trays, and all that's bending up in front. I mean, you're moving true metal in
it's-
there.
That's way harder than I want to be running stuff.
I've had a lot of people say today, you're going to go run here, you're going to go run there. It's like, no, I'm trying to go easier.
Yeah.
I
You're
tried
getting
it.
to the age, man, that you want the car to give. I mean, that's the nice thing about running like a wire class or a super stock class is, the car is going to give before you do.
The guys running like Mike Brown, DMP guys at Missouri, Kansas,
Iowa.
that is a really hard build area, and I just don't know how the guys go continuously.
They're used
no
to it.
fear, man.
They're
Just-
used to it.
man.
I mean, they've done it from day one. They've built stuff like that, so you're used to it. I mean,
I watch a lot of the in-car cameras. I was just watching. It wasn't Rosno, Ort, but Ort was in the heat. French.
Ferrix.
That's it. I couldn't pronounce that. I watched
That's
a
what I'm
bunch of
here
his
for.
in-car, and dude, there's some shots he takes, and he hits nose to nose with somebody, and you can hear it and see it through the GoPro, and you see his whole body like just take it. And it's
Shake.
Like, oh man!
it's like
That was like when Eric Moulet right off the line went nose to nose in that Cadillac, and just the noise that came through that building. I mean, we've overstated it a million times saying it sounds like 2 dump trucks, but I don't know what else to compare
It's
it
a
to.
hollow
It's just-
thud.
It's just.
you know,
It's just
you know what was
man.
more awesome this year, though?
it sounds a lot like a concussion.
Yes.
You know what
Being in
sounded
the
more
box.
awesome, though, at Blizzard Bash was when those Cadillacs were hitting those Fords, and those Fords were crunching.
Loving it.
That was more awesome. We've
Dude, I
been
was
waiting for that
I
for a
love-
long time.
I know Blizzard Bash is going to step down on rules a little bit. I liked where they were at only because they.
Are they gonna back down
I
for
think
the
Sam
world?
said not a lot, but I think they were going to
Just
try
a
to
little.
take. I don't think they wanted the cage to the DP. That's a game changer.
Oh, yeah.
When they're locked in that hard. But man, we watched some Cadillacs, true nose to nose. Vic Cadillac, bam, who bat, and we were
Vic.
watching the flex. I mean, they were flexing Fords, and the Cadillacs just bam.
We were loving every minute of
The
it.
rules really brought Old Iron back into it because let's watch the progression of Blizzard Bash. The first year 03s, then got rid of 03s and Vics. Now changed the rule a little bit, caddies. It really shows you that the changing in the rules, just a little bit, changing 2 rules, can change the total outcome of what's good and what's bad.
And I think it also changed the game a little bit for the metric Cadillacs too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I got a whole new respect level for Metric Cadillac. 78, 79. But Rosno, listen, we love Rosno.
Hang
He's a
on,
great
careful.
guy, you know.
You're getting close to that line again.
Oh, am I?
Not too much information. Go ahead.
No, I like him. He really showed, like, listen, Shaggy, thank you, Shaggy, by the way, for paying up. Shaggy was saying that it was going to go down. And listen, we've all seen, to me, a 77 GM is going down. You start buckling them. Rosno did a really good job, but the shots he was taking with the front. I mean, him and Ort, I love their team. Every year we've watched them, they've been true power hitters. But Rosno was laying shots with the front of that, and I think that maybe that was harder than some of the Vics.
No, definitely.
I really think so.
No doubt. I have no doubt in my mind.
Just what do you do with the backs? They're junk. And they're not rolling as nice. And I don't know if it's the metal. They don't roll as nice as a Vic. They just –
Yeah.
Rosno did a lot of work to keep that one from the ground. Remember the 9-wire? He had 9-wire like all the way up to the halo, just tight as can be.
Yeah. He's definitely got the metrics figured out, but they're pretty tough.
The Cordoba.
The first year, how famous he made it with throwing the chip, right?
Oh,
Rosno
yeah.
made a name, chip chucking. Okay, it was awesome. Now this year, man, the pictures of him with that rear end cockeyed straight and the slider still in it. Unbelievable pictures. You know, it was really cool.
And he was mad, though. He's like, I got junked. I'm like, dude, you were far from that
Rosno,
junk.
come on.
I don't know about junk.
Dude, people were all watching him.
Yeah.
I mean, it was cool.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah, he definitely became a fan favorite out there.
Definitely. He's a good dude.
Daniel Ort, I mean, with he gets the most out of those Crown Vics. If they ever get a little bit of luck in one of those heats, I mean, just
They're
little.
right there.
Every year.
I think their driving is good. I seen Dan take some shots and like kind of shake the cobwebs up. And that's what I'm talking about. I don't know how he can do that. Like Blizzard Bash is a weekend of it. And him and Rosno
ran 4 nights in a row.
I don't care what you two say. You were concussed. You both were loopy as hell. You don't know what you were saying just from all the shots that you were taking.
Oh well, that's what happened in the last feature.
You're talking about from the first night?
Had them all up. Those guys are out of it. Rosno on the last night was out. When Ort come up and said to us, like, Kenny's just babbling over there. It's like, well, go sit him down.
Yeah.
Give him a water.
Well, Kenny's girlfriend is an RN, so she was up with him for the last night because he actually got his helmet broke.
I know.
So he was
his helmet.
Yeah, he was actually, you know, he had, so she was up with him for the night. He definitely had some.
I seen a shot that Ort took, not even looking. His car stalled.
Right in front of us.
Yes. And his hit the pillar, like, just, I could see him, like, out of it. He was out of it. You know, he's just.
You know, the thing is if you take a big blow to the head like that, Brian was explaining to me that if you take a shot to the head like that and you begin throwing up, the first thing you need to do is take a nap right away.
Yeah, just go to sleep as fast as you can. You'll be fine when you wake up.
That's why his girlfriend was staying up with him, because if you fell asleep, you could get in some serious trouble.
Every 30 minutes she was getting him up. Thankfully, I've only been concussed once in the Demolition Derby. So
I've probably been a couple.
In Demolition Derby or ever?
Demolition Derby once.
How many concussions have you had?
I think 2 total. 1 in football and 1 Demolition Derby.
How about you?
Well,
You
3
guys
I
are
know
rookies.
by the doctor. But
I've had 7.
whoa,
Yeah, but my
answers a
neck
lot.
and shoulders hold my head up a little bit better than yours.
No, not even
I have a little bit.
You know, this answers a lot. When you think about it. Have you had 7?
Yeah.
A lot of answers.
Yeah, that.
Yep.
I can account for 7 anyway.
You might be mentally disabled. You don't know. You don't know.
Yeah. We.
What do you mean?
Concussions are bad. I mean, you know, when I got concussions, I get migraines really bad. My migraines started after my concussions. I got 2 concussions back to back when I was like 14, and I've had migraines ever since. And it's like I always thought I had
Was
something to do
that
with it.
one of the rap battles used to do back in the day? You know,
No, it was
be boxed the
football.
wrong way and someone hit you, or
Brian, I will knock you clean out, man.
if you hit me
Don't
with
please,
if
I've
you
been
hit me with a
calm.
new company car.
Oh man, a hunk of shit.
Chris Marquardt, what do you think?
Well, I was just trying to count up, make sure. I think it was over 7.
Hey, I don't want no pressure on you all, but right now, who wins Capital Carnage?
Capital Carnage.
No, I'm calling Cinderella story. I think it's gonna be someone out of nowhere. I seen some of the names that are there.
Dustin Ingram.
Is he running for sure?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
Hard
if
to
he's
bet
running.
against
I
him.
think he's running drive for 5.
I don't know.
Right? I think the whole group.
You were
is
talking about the Electra that was going to be at Bash for Cash, and I got really excited, but then I just had a conversation with the guy the other day, and he didn't mention anything about it. So I'm wondering if
I can't believe that I know something that Chris Marquardt doesn't. That is amazing.
if Uncle Jimmy's going to Ohio or not.
No.
I wouldn't
No.
think
Uncle
so.
Jimmy will be. I wonder if he's going to Capital.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
sure
that's in
he
his
is.
backyard for 30
Yeah.
grand. Are you kidding?
I'm
Uncle Jimmy.
I mean, he
I'm
makes
pretty
that,
confident he is, because he told me he's got to get together with the rest of the team and figure out what their door wraps need to look like for April. So I'm pretty confident. I think we can rest safely that those cars are going to be there.
Do you know the guy that's doing the door wraps?
Yeah.
yeah, he knows
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. He goes, and we want something different this year. I'm like, Yeah, I would assume. Last year was the first time you ever ordered wraps before, and they were for Team Weston. So unless you're doing the Team Weston thing again, I'm guessing you probably want something different.
Are you going to somewhere sneak a 21X in there, like a hidden picture?
No,
Yes.
That would be so
I
cool.
wouldn't
Hey,
do
do
that.
one of those wonder if you wear glasses, it's a different. It says things
Listen,
behind
this
it.
is what you do. You
Who
gotta
are you?
You got to do numbers like Bloomquist, to where when you flash the thing,
Yeah.
Josh Decker's face at 21X.
Yeah, let's do some LED or something on the side of it. You can do it, Chris.
First of all,
Let's
that's
make
not
this
how you
happen.
do that. That's-
You
that's
would be
just-
the coolest
that's-
door
that's-
rep guy in the business
Don't
if you
skip
did
tonight.
that.
Get this done.
First, one question at a time. First of all, you're an idiot. Second, I know how to do that.
Okay, can you do it for my car next year
For your car,
free?
I'm pretty sure I could.
Can I get the Josh Decker
that stuff
price?
Is very expensive. At least for my accessibility, it's very expensive.
I want
but
the
I know
Josh
how to
Decker
do it.
price.
You want the Josh Decker price?
I want the
It's gonna
Josh Decker
be-
price.
He
No,
still
you
hasn't paid it off.
Oh, I have a running tab.
He said his next kid he's going to sell and give you the profits.
His next kidney?
Kid.
Kid?
No
You're not
kids.
having any more kids, are you? Yeah.
No.
Come on, Josh, one more.
I got 8 more years and my kids are out of the house.
Whatever, dude. Your kids are going to live
Suffering
with
He said
you
Imperials all
lovingly.
day long. Just buying stuff for Imperials.
Your kids are going to live with you till you're 60.
My daughter says it all the time. Why would I move out when I get big, Dad? I'll just live here. And it's
Why
like,
would
no,
she?
no.
Why would she? Because Daddy gives her whatever she wants.
Spoiled.
Well, you,
Now, does she have to actually bat her eyes, or
Wait a
does she
minute.
just
No.
ask and you give it to her?
Yeah.
All right, I was just checking. I
Pretty
feel,
simple.
I
Hey,
feel
Josh-
the pain because you guys both have two beautiful little girls, and there is no way I could say no to a little girl.
It's
I
very
just-
hard.
The problems you guys are gonna have.
My
are just-
daughter will go like, Dad. And it's like, all right.
all right, here you go. Here's $100.
It's
She's
way-
6. Here's $100, honey.
Brian, it's way easier than you think.
I don't think so.
I struggle.
I don't think so.
struggle.
Let that adorable daughter scream in the backseat of your car for 2 hours and tell me how hard it is to say no. It's like, do you want to go to bed? I don't care. You go to bed.
I have a hard time saying no to boys. I couldn't imagine having a daddy's little girl that just melts you.
Josh's daughter. Why would I want to move out? And Josh says, well, maybe you want to have a house with a basement.
Yeah. The rich kids. So screwed up. Oh, man. I'm embarrassed myself. What are you going to do?
You should be.
Why would you? You're Josh Decker, man. There's only one of you in the world.
You know,
Yeah,
Jerry
thank
says to me, I
God.
was taking a picture the other day, and I'm like, nah, we got to move the car over here. And he's like, why? And I'm like, I don't want my house in the background. I got to hide my house.
Corey Relier.
Ooh.
Right back out the door.
I thought it would have been packed in here.
I don't
mean,
remember who.
It's 70 out. Who wants to come inside when it's
it's
70 out in New
pretty
York?
nice
What time we eat? 3?
3.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you get served first. I wouldn't worry about it.
Got another 20 minutes or so. We'll start. Tommy?
It's got to be time for 3 olives.
Yeah, I'll take one of them myself, actually.
I would love to
You
see
would
that.
be
Unconscious.
passed out.
Passed out.
Your fragile little body can't handle what I do.
Very sensitive. No, you. No comment. I sent Chris up. You know, I was scrolling through my pictures the other day. I sent him one. I just find this
Yeah, I know
random
the
picture of
picture.
Chris holding a, I think it was clear moonshine in one hand and a bottle of gin.
Ooh,
right? Was there
Smurf
rum?
juice.
You know?
That's all I can tell you. You got to find Smurf juice this weekend. You would be impressed.
I thought there was some of it.
Uh-oh.
Wow,
Can't have
holy
anything
cow.
nice.
Man down.
That's why we can't have nice things.
I wouldn't worry about it. Chris Marquardt can make another one.
Make another sign. Doesn't matter.
Just like that.
make another one. Just make another one. Duct tape it together. Andy Lee's here.
Andy Lee.
Party can officially start.
Andy Lee.
Brian, do me a huge favor and don't talk to him again today.
I won't.
Andy Lee, the big
I
1-6.
I can't believe that Andy Lee's here and Donnie Hartzell isn't.
What? Where's the old Donnie?
Donnie's got to be close. Oh, he must be on his way. Okay, because where there's one, they're usually
Actually, should be able
usually
to-
Donnie's and then Andy's kind of following.
There's Andy. Andy is just above the young lady in the blue shirt.
Yeah,
making
here
his
he
way towards
is.
us.
This
There he
young
is.
man.
I didn't know you had a screenshot on there.
Yeah, I do. I was waiting for it to get a little more full.
Oh,
Oh, you didn't want to only 3 people listening to us?
Yeah. There's
yeah, but there's
actually-
700 watching online.
Probably 4.
No, everybody that would be watching online is here,
Oh.
watching in the parking lot.
There's a bunch out west.
It's nice out, actually. Probably everyone's
Real
out
nice
building
out.
cars somewhere, you know?
I figured Josh should be out like sunbathing today, working on the base for the spring, early
Thought
summer.
about it.
I thought about it.
Josh, I missed you.
There's so many people that I got to
You
tell
owe
you.
20
There's
bucks for Girl Scout cookies, by the way. God, I can't forget that.
there's so many people that
I'll
wanted
give it
to
to you
come on
Monday.
the
No,
on
I
the
got it.
show, and
They're all outside buying parts.
Outside buying parts, exactly.
Oh, you want me? You know what? I said I was going to fill this with. You want me to set people in here?
No, we only got like 20
Long
minutes.
sleeves
We're
down
good.
here. There's one. You can go right through the camera. Perfect.
Yep, there you go. Perfect. At least didn't knock it over.
Remember when Muse was grabbed the?
The
We had
trophy.
some great times actually at Derry's.
I remember that. When Muse
That
grabbed
promo
hold,
was fun actually. It was
he grabbed hold of that trophy. Someone please, security.
Stop Muse.
We saw Muse last week for about 2 seconds. We were
Yep.
walking around and
He was in pretty good shape.
Yeah, yeah. So Muse was, oh man, I've been saw him since I got here, and we talked to him for a minute. Somebody goes, hey, you got my rims, and disappeared. But he said that he was trying to back off a little bit this year on running.
He
He said
that.
he was building a house, but he said now he's entered in this team show, and he's supposed to be running there, and he's got to buy a 1-inch cradle because these guys are catching up. And I said, buddy, it doesn't sound like you're slowing down. No, I guess I'm not. But
You want to know something awesome?
Josh Tucker?
Talk to Muse. Talk to Brzezinski.
Yeah.
Talk to Candace.
I didn't see
Talk
Brzezinski, saw
to
Candace.
5, 10, 15, 25 people out there, and all of them said the same thing, that they can't wait to get out here for New Year's next year.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Brzezinski had something lined up, and he couldn't make it, but he said he's definitely coming. And all you have to do is buy a ticket, and you're automatically in the running for one of 3 cars. And there's going to be, I think there's 2 or 3 different car raffles being done as well on top of that. So 6 cars being given away in one night. Not too bad.
That's incredible.
None of them are Cadillacs, though, so Brian said don't even bother pulling my ticket.
It was funny. When Mad Mike was hauling cars up from Florida, I asked about old cars, and he said, "Well, everything we found has been real expensive." Because we get lots of Fords on. I said, "Mike, I can't drive like you." I said, "I run a Ford. I'm going to be done in about 3 shots."
You can't even fit
He
in.
laughed.
Friend to friend.
Friend of friend.
Who thinks it would be cool to see me drive Josh Decker through a floor drain right here in front of everybody?
Be awesome.
Head
I got-
first, pick him up, and just
Actually,
drive him
if-
down through the drain.
If you let me plan that out right, we can offer 2 different camera angles of it at the same time.
Listen, I've been watching old WWF wrestling, like the Rockers, right? Marty
The
Jannetty.
Rockers?
I will jump kick you all
That's
day
not
long.
old.
Huh?
That's not old.
It's 90s, like
That's
1998.
90s. You want to talk about
Ultimate
old?
Warrior
We're
is
talking
just,
like
I will,
early
Ultimate
80s.
Warrior.
Let's-
Listen,
let's
I've
compare
been
those
watching
on.
old school 1970s Abdullah the Butcher, and I will carve your
I don't even know
forehead
what that
open.
is. That's
I will
way
carve
too-
your forehead open with a fork.
I will superfly Jimmy Snuka you, dude.
Okay, at least you're getting in the ballpark.
I was watching all of them. I watched all 1998
That's right
Survivor
before-
Series.
I was out of school 6 years in 1988. That wasn't that long ago. Well, it was a long time ago, but not
It
that
was a
long.
long time ago.
This was right
Wrestling is-
before Jimmy Superfly Snuka allegedly got Alzheimer's and killed somebody in Hawaii.
No, that happened in like the 80s. That was, yeah. Now he's got dementia and can't stand trial.
It's fine. It's fine.
Josh, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but you've put on a couple pounds since you were somewhat athletic. I don't know how athletic you could be anymore.
Yeah. Let's let Brian talk about gaining weight.
Yeah, Brian. I mean, bald bull here.
I'd rather be bald bull than glass jaw.
That's Joe. It's
Same
Glass
difference.
Joe. Glass Joe. And Von Kaiser after that.
I'm more like Don Flamingo, right? Like the rose and stuff. I was just playing it the other day.
How far did you get? Did you use a cheat code?
I don't know. Like I get bored. You get up to like you beat the hippo, and then it's like it gets boring from then on out. Soda Popinski's up after that.
No.
Yeah, and then you start punching.
No.
Brett-
After you beat King Hippo, I think it's the Great Tiger. And
Yes.
then you have to get through.
Tiger's
then you have to
easy.
get through. Then you have to get through Bald Bull, and then I think you get to Soda Popinski.
Popinski's like the last one before Tyson, isn't he?
no,
No, there's a whole
Sandman
other. No,
is
you got to
in
see
there.
a bunch of. Yeah, see Sandman, Mr. Dream. If it wasn't the Tyson license version.
Josh, in all seriousness, how excited
that
are you about Mike Decker knocking you out of your seat in Ohio? I mean, that's
That's
going
gotta
to be
feel
like
good.
Oh,
right
to
up
have
there.
your grandfather drop kick you into another zip code.
I will track him way before he gets a shot.
Let's be honest, though. He will hit you at like 60 and then back up so he can get going faster to do it again.
We'll run together. I don't care what he says.
We should just stand in his way.
Josh will be following him around like a lost child. Just please don't hit me.
No, but seriously, we're gonna run together, right? Seriously, I mean, friend
No,
to friend.
I don't do that.
Friend to friend.
I don't ever do that. You're wasting your time. This is me. Going around before your heat, trying to shake hands, saying, you want to run with me, you want to run with me. You're wasting breath and time.
If you do it with Dan Bolton, you are.
Definitely. Dan is not on your team. No.
No, that's-
It all comes on the track. As soon as you back up, the guys that are hitting you are the guys you go after. It's as simple as that sometimes, Like you stay away from your buddies for a while and you track guys that are trying to go after you.
Dan Derby's with a blindfold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan is, what do they call it when you just
Tunnel vision.
gone?
Yep.
Dan is, his
Eyes
eyes
rolled.
roll. Yeah.
Eyes roll in the back of his head.
They call it Jim Beatty syndrome.
Wow.
That's true.
Jim Beatty really would hit you.
Yeah, no, I know.
And
I
would,
know that.
And that would be well worth streaming it.
I would allow it just for the views we'd get.
Don't mess that up.
No. Yeah, don't hit this part of my face.
Rib shots, ribs and kidneys. You don't need those. They're not
I think it's
important.
Blazing Saddles where Dom DeLuise says, not in the face.
Yeah, that is. Oh, I love that movie. Too.
That's got the greatest line in it in the world.
Actually,
And we utter it
You can't say
repeatedly.
any of them.
We utter it repeatedly when you're on the road.
just simply saying what I did might be enough for YouTube to say that we were streaming the video
Yes.
and throw us off.
Oh, that's great. So, Josh, are you ready for April, man? Your first road trip of the year?
Or we're going to Crossroads, right?
That's not April.
Crossroads is in May.
Oh, May?
Crossroads is in May. I think that's May 2nd and 3rd. And then the 29th and 30th is Capital Carnage. May the 14th is our first Stern Dirt show going to the Golden Spike Arena, if I remember that one right. Yeah, I tried to call you for like a week straight.
Call me and tell me this?
Him and Ben are going. We're out, buddy.
I called you for a week straight.
He said you and I got a fist fight to see who goes in October.
Oh, that's deal. Fist fight.
No.
I'll grab weapons.
No, you got to remember that you two have to fist fight. The winner of that has to fight Ben for the seat.
That's tough.
Do either of you
I'll
want
just take
that?
Brian out. You ever
I just
watch
think
Princess
that,
Bride? I'll just
listen,
choke him out
you
like
gotta,
Andre.
You got to understand a couple things about how that came together. Is that we've had the chance to go a lot of places that Ben hasn't. Ben has to be selective about when and where he goes
Ben
to
definitely
plan
Oh
it
no,
out.
May.
Dibs.
Yeah, but May he's definitely going. But October, what if we go back?
October is probably going to be Ben's show too, because he's not going to let anybody else have that seat.
Ben deserves it. I kind of agree because there's been times
He
Ben's
hasn't been able to
bowed
go,
out
and
we
he's,
went.
He's and he's got to be selective. It was,
But I think-
let him plan far enough ahead of time.
I think part of Stern Dirt's thing for October though is that Josh Decker was going to be there. Like I think that's part of the advertisement.
I don't
to
remember
bring in
that
more people.
because
I bet that's not the feeling out there. I got a feeling. That's not what he was saying.
Nope, I don't remember that part.
I don't think anybody
You've had
in
stomach
Utah
concussions.
cares.
It might have affected your.
I was counting in my
memory.
head. I think it's more than that.
That would explain a lot.
I think it's more than that. It might be closer to 9. I mean, because there's at least 3 car accidents right off the top. At least 3 car accidents right away. That I went, forward into things and hit my head off the A pillar and wanted to take a nap really bad.
And that's why Chris doesn't drive when we go anywhere.
And then there was the wagon, and then there was the dresser, and then there was the clock. So there's 6 right there without even trying. Then I was kicked in the head one time playing flag football, and they made me go to the doctors that time. So there's 7 without even trying.
But as long as they're spaced out, you're all right.
Yeah, it worked out to being like 1 a year.
Yeah.
Oh
that's,
my
that's
gosh,
not bad. You're
they
golden.
totally cleared.
Yeah, you're
it's
totally
fine.
cleared.
I wouldn't even worry about it.
No. I mean, you got to have like 7 in a year before you're concerned.
Yeah. I'm not in the NFL. I got nothing to worry
No,
about.
Yeah,
definitely.
you're good. You're good.
Give it 15 years. I'm going to be boxing the Invisible Man all the time.
Yes. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
That's terrific.
Is that bad?
It's
No,
it's
it's
a little
terrific.
far. It's a little far. When I was walking around outside, there's just so many people that you talk to. You just as soon as you get away, right? You got to work on your skills of.
It was
Because
busy in here.
Next guy. So many great guys here today,
Jake Sherman.
Jake Sherman from State Farm.
The one and only.
When you were talking about great guys, you met Jake Sherman, right?
Jake from State Farm. Yes, Jake Sherman.
All right, just checking. Just checking.
Well, I know there's a ton of people that said they wanted to come on the show, and
They're outside during the heat.
since we're kind of at a point where we're about ready to get everything.
I'm on Sherman in.
Oh, you're gonna let Sherman in? All right. Josh has to go to the bathroom.
So do I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're only on here for another 10 minutes or so. We'll wrap everything up, get this part of it packed up.
By packed up, you mean you, because we aren't going to touch your equipment.
You can help me unhook those cables right there.
You'd let me do that?
No.
3 years in?
Nah.
Hey, what happens at that show when I have to take care of all this stuff by myself?
I've already started working on some arrangements for that. It looks like Jim Sinacropi is going to go and bring the basketball rig, so you'll be working with him.
That's interesting.
You asked. Jake Sherman.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and lean out of the camera frame like you always do.
Hey, what are you gonna do?
So what do you
You
think?
gotta have a little lean to you.
What'd you think of all the vendors outside? Place was packed.
Yeah, a lot of stuff out there. A lot of wheels, a lot of bumpers, tires, a lot of stuff getting sold back and forth.
Beautiful Cadillac.
I don't want
car.
to start a rumor, but Jake bought 2 of most things and 3 of some. So I think he's going to tour this year.
Now, if I remember right, you got a raffle car out there, right? There's a car that you're giving away or something?
No, not here. No.
Oh, okay.
No, I bought some tickets for it, but
I saw there was a red Lumen. I assumed that was something that you were involved with that's being raffled off. And then I also saw the Cadillac, the Aaron Bunt's gorgeous car.
yeah, very
Aaron
nice.
Bunce is giving
Very
that
nice.
away.
Very
Pretty nice.
That came from Texas.
Yeah.
Very nice car.
You can tell it came from Texas because the vinyl roof has exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing wrong with the car is the roof is peeled because it's
Yeah.
been 6,000 degrees. So, very nice
Sunbaked.
car.
No, I didn't buy a whole lot today. A little bit. Got some tires and rims and.
Nice.
The important stuff.
I've just been walking around telling people that I'll be back and Josh Decker's paying for it. So we'll
Yeah,
see how it
there
works
you-
out at the
there
end
you
of the day.
There you go. But it looked like everything's been. I mean, hard part is what's been sold and what isn't. You know,
Yeah.
because everything's laid out on trailers, and you go up and see something you want, and I just bought that. You know, so it's a.
Some of it is, some of it isn't. You coming up Monday to the studio?
I would sure like to.
Okay.
Missed last week there. I had,
Yeah, we want the
some
recap.
frozen
of-
pipes.
Yeah. Is that all taken care of now?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I saw Robin was applauding your status as a hero.
Yes,
No, they're
yeah.
they're still carrying water in buckets. They just figured it'd wait till spring and it'll thaw out on its own.
It's fine. You never know.
That's how they roll down there in Norwich.
That could happen.
Good.
Yeah, I was gone for the weekend, so I had some pipes to clean when I got back.
Absolutely.
Oh my. And
Now
good talking
I'll
to
thought
you.
out.
Good talking to you. Just watching close, just a few minutes away from lunch being served, buffet being spread out, everything taking form here. Inside, I believe this is the Starlight Room here at the Owego Treadway. Again, tons of raffles outside, entries for.
Must be their
These
server
old
upstairs
school-
too again. Because I saw people when I came in. I saw people.
There's a
going
bunch of vendors
upstairs.
upstairs.
Oh, really?
A bunch of the
Oh,
vendors
oh.
upstairs, yep.
A lot of good stuff for the wives upstairs.
Oils
vendor
and
stuff.
Young Living and all that cool stuff.
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
So you got to get your hands on a new RC car body at some point.
I do actually. I was supposed to get one today from Mr. Brown when he gets here. I think he says he's coming at 3.
Oh, cool. Good deal. Because there's another derby on March the 20th in Auburn Mall.
There you go.
Ben's building
Oh,
one on a
That's a
diamond plate.
blast.
And he's not welcome to do that at all. Josh is going to have it's called Finger Lake Speed World. There's a ton of race cars and micro odds and all sorts of variety of stuff there. And Josh, among the cars that are going to be in the center stage, will be the Rosa car.
Really?
Oh,
Yep.
really?
It's going to be cool. Finally get a chance to shove some derby cars out there next to all the
that's
dirt
pretty
cars and
cool.
stuff. It'll
That's
be,
nice.
It'll be pushed in because motor and tranny's out of it, and the way that thing's bent, you probably couldn't get it back in if you needed to.
Yeah, it'll be fun trying to push it in there. Hopefully, it takes the axles out so it wheels a little
Yeah.
easier. Actually, I thought the rear end was out of that. I thought you put the rear end out of that in Bandau's.
I don't know.
Well, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to see. They don't have a fork truck there, so it's going to have to be pushed inside.
Well, we could have Vern come up and carry it.
Vern could.
Yeah,
Vern
there you
could
go.
do that.
We could do that.
I was actually look into entering a car in a local parade that we have up there, but it's Memorial Weekend, and
You'll be busy.
I'll be down at Bash for
Occupado.
Cash at that time, so maybe next year.
No, you'll probably be back at Bash for Cash.
Yeah, probably.
See that happening.
That's kind of habit forming.
Do
It's
see
kind of a
that
habit forming show.
You know, that's one thing. That's the one show that it's kind of always been on my bucket list the last few years anyway, and I just never made it out. My family does a big get together on that weekend every year. It's kind of what we do, and this year I bowed out. I got to go, so we're gonna
Absolutely.
head down there.
And then from the sounds of it, this is going to be a premier year to go. A lot
Yeah.
of big name drivers going to be there, so it's going to be a great year to be out there.
Good time, that's for sure. And obviously, talked a little bit about on the New Year's thing with the podcast and help them out with the 80s wire class, or 70s wire class. So it's going to be a good time.
I think it's going to be a ton of fun. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a busy season. I mean, we only got through like the end of May. Talking about some of the travel and
Yeah,
stuff
we,
that we've got to do, and it's
Chris
more
was
dense
giving
than
us
that.
our rundown on the way back from
Everybody kept
Minnesota.
telling me, you don't have anything booked. You don't have anything booked. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't say. I never say that. I never say you don't have anything. I just wait and say, well, we
Wait to be told.
see where we're going.
Wait to be told.
It's nice when you tell us a little earlier than, hey, we're going to California this weekend. That's a little need a little.
I've never
bit more.
done that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding.
Never done that.
'Cause
Although
we haven't been to California yet.
it's funny you should bring that up next weekend.
Next weekend, I will be home. If I had to guess, probably with a new puppy.
Next Saturday is Melissa's birthday, and then next Sunday already is that Mud Boss 200 down at Radio Hill.
Nice. So are you going to take Melissa to the Mud Boss 200 for her birthday?
No. I believe Friday we're going out for dinner. We're going to knock out a bunch of stockpiled holidays.
Now, are you to take her someplace special and go like the Wendy's?
Probably.
I mean, are you thinking like Long John
Shut
Silver?
up.
I'm just wondering. I mean, I know how well.
My name's not Chris Decker. I'll take her someplace nicer than Wendy's.
You're going to Pizza Hut, aren't you?
Longhorn.
Nice. Longhorn. Doesn't get any better than that. Do they have a gluten-free menu?
Pretty much everything on their menu is already gluten-free.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Good for you.
We go there and just start gorging ourselves. I love going there. Their food's awesome.
Isn't that where we ate a couple times when we were in Topeka?
Mm-hmm.
I got that prime rib on the last night. That was good.
Yep.
The last $4 I had went to that prime rib.
What I should have had you done was order that prime rib gluten-free style, and all that stuff that you would have left on your plate, I would have eaten.
Hey,
I didn't think about that ahead of time.
Last week when we were when we were stuck in O'Hare Airport for somewhere between 16 and 40 hours. I went and grabbed something to eat, and I was going to take care of Chris. He's obviously, he's got some gluten, some allergies, and I was going to get him a nice French fry box with some ketchup. But
there you go.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get that for him.
Unfortunately, he spilled the ketchup on his shirt and now owns that Burger King.
My flight was pretty much problem-free. As a matter of fact, the flight from Newark back to Syracuse, I think there was like a total of 6 people on the whole plane. Everybody had their own seats.
Never had that.
No. Yeah.
Once we had 6 people on the plane, but we were the 6 people.
I don't remember that one.
Remember when we flew out of Delaware? Or not Delaware, out of Newark on the turboprop. They got to cruising altitude of 165 feet.
Oh, no, that was Rochester the first time we left. We
Yeah.
went to Minnesota. Yeah, that wasn't good.
We were the only 6 people on the plane.
Yeah.
I think it was cool though the way the treetops were scrubbing the underneath and keeping the ice
awesome.
off it. That was pretty nice.
The only issue I had is it was a late night and
Early morning, I heard.
We knew that
the TSA and me had a quick conversation about my ability to fly. And I explained to them I had no intention to fly the plane and I'd never been in a condition where I couldn't sleep. And after a short conversation, they agreed, and I made it home.
It was funny. We flew out a few hours after you, and because
few hours. Out of there.
That's what we like to do to Chris. Is we said, if you would have just got us 6 o'clock plane tickets, we'd be home already. And of course, Chris got upset, and
Never
then
happy.
we reminded him that it was
bitches.
funny. But yeah, it was kind of a long day.
I remember on that flight from Rochester into, I think it was Newark or Philly, when we were on that turboprop. I didn't know that you could forget to put the landing gear up on one of those until the pilot put the landing gear up
and it hit your feet
and told us when he just turned around and said, "Hey, I forgot to put the landing gear."
That was how funny was it though when we walked out and we're like, all right, you got to go this way to the plane. We're going down the steps and Ben goes, as long as it's not a prop plane, I'll be fine. We get down there and there sits a prop plane and he just shakes his head.
We didn't have much luck on the prop plane leaving Newark there last year.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was the one that had the flat tire, huh?
Yeah, well, that and
The mechanical
engine
issue.
noise.
Corey Relier in the house.
Careful, you're gonna blow that speaker out. Blow that speaker to pieces.
I'm sorry. I promise if I blow it, Josh Decker will buy you a new one.
This is the old one.
Oh, well, we're
We got
good.
another new one.
That thing's been dropped from
I
40,000
know.
feet going to
Held
Minnesota.
together.
Hey, how many TSA papers did you have in your bags when you got
Oh
home?
my God! I found them inside stuff. They went through everything.
Yeah, they don't.
I found out why our bags were delayed too.
Because
I got
they
the
were-
text alert.
Going through them?
No, they weren't on the plane with us.
Really?
They were on a different plane. The plane that was flying. Remember how we had that gate change like last minute,
Yeah,
and we
yeah,
boarded
yeah.
and took off.
Yep.
Our bags never got changed.
Really?
So our bags were still in that other plane, but that other plane still went to Rochester anyway, and it was on our heels. It must have been drafting off of us. So
Okay.
that was the reason why the delay was. All of our bags were on the other plane. We had a 20-minute wait for our bags.
Yeah.
They touched down and they got our bags in. So it was pleasant to check my text messages once we got signal and my phone rebooted and stuff like that, and I had an alert that your four bags have been unaccounted for on the flight you're about to get on.
Yeah,
All of this was
Yes.
account for it soon.
Chris's phone had froze up over the weekend. So by the time we got in the car and got it unthawed and it started working, from Rochester Airport till the time we got to his house, it was just going off with alerts. He must have had 7,000 messages on his phone.
I think the worst part of as far as cold for the weekend was when we flew back into Syracuse, just going from Syracuse out to the car.
Oh,
My
yeah.
car almost didn't start. It was the town car.
It was definitely way colder when we got to Rochester.
But what was great about being out there was you knew, you know what I mean? You prepared, you know what I mean? I looked like the kid from Christmas Story. I mean, I had like 10 layers on,
Yeah.
which actually I realized that I probably should have pulled a couple layers off.
When you got in the car.
Because when I got in the car, I got the neck roll on, I got the helmet on, and you know, like 5 layers, and I went to back up, get onto the line, and I couldn't turn around. Like I'm just sitting there, and I couldn't. It just so different. You don't think about those things typically.
No. No, that's for sure.
But it was aluminum. You don't have to turn around in those.
No,
anyways,
you
so,
drive that thing. It's just like an Imperial, only shorter.
What do you think? I mean, we've
I think
talked
we
about
stick
a lot.
a fork in it, man.
Yeah,
We're done.
stick a fork in it literally because it looks like food's just about ready to come out. That's going to do it for the Crash Course Live here at the Northeast Demolition Derby Banquet 2016 edition. Jake Sherman, looking forward to catching up with you more about your run at Napa Winter Slam coming up here on Monday, if you get the time to come and join us. But that is going to do it for us here on the Crash Course. We'll be with you right back on Finger Lakes 1 on our Homes Network coming up on Monday night. Look forward to seeing you then. Why won't that play?
You broke it.
Probably.
Yeah,
it won't play. We're good.
The Crash Course Podcast is brought to you in part by DerbyParts.com. The 2015 Wadena Grand Slam. Boat Lockwood Motorsports and the 2015 Keystone National. Syopa Racing and SyopaRacing.com. Ultimate Derby and Blizzard Bash 2015. Demo Derby Masters. Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel at RecklessAbandonGear.com. And Derby Inc. Magazine. Live it, breathe it, be it, Derby Inc.